Shalom, sweet people. I am Maker Strong. My Maker makes me strong. And here I am again with part two to my dating in person. So remember I talked to you guys about dating online and dating in person. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about the difference. Well, I mean, 'cause some of the differences is obvious, but remember the first component of this series? I don't know. Anyway, the first component was the video that I put up a couple of days ago, and it was about like what questions not to ask a celibate woman. And I've been asked those questions and other rude questions, and usually those questions are asked in the online setting. And I don't go any further than that if those are the types of conversations that I'm finding myself um entertaining. I don't usually go any further than that with a person who would ask me a question like that anyway. So they never really get to second stages. Um, and second stage, actually, if it's from online, it's going to be on the like a video call or something like that. So the first stage is just kind of the um, hi, how are you? Where you from? That kind of stuff. What's the weather like? It kind of general questions. And then maybe if there is a substantive conversation that comes out of the online chat, then we may move to the stage of, having a video call. And then from the video call moving to the stage of actually going out. Okay. And so this is if the person is looking like somebody that you know that you actually want to spend some time with. I mean, it's just normal. So what I've been noticing in my own experience with the one-on-one type dating, which hasn't happened in a while, just to be candid about it. But what I've noticed is this sort of interview type process that I find myself kind of in. And this is even after you've vetted, right? You've done your vetting, the first, second, third stages, and then you're like, okay, um, let's go have dinner, or um, let's go to the park. Just let's go somewhere and talk and have a one-on-one type of experience, right? So what I've noticed in the reason that some of those things were not a go for me is that the conversation ends up being feeling like a job interview. And that was something that I don't really feel like is something that I want to do. Like if I'm actually interviewing for a job, I'll interview for the job. But when you are talking to a potential partner, hopefully it doesn't feel like a job interview. Hopefully it feels like the two of you are on equal footing in the investment of the energy and time that it takes to see if your coupling is going to be of value to both of you. And so I ran across this thing that Terry Crews talked about at this convention, Women in the World. Now, I know that you guys may feel one way or another about Terry Crews. I wasn't necessarily a Terry Crews fan. I wasn't not a fan, but I just wasn't a fan. But I'm starting to appreciate him a whole lot more. And the fact that he has gone to therapy, he has overcome porn addiction, he has done a lot of shadow work. And the fact that he is coming out and on the other end of that and sharing some of his insights, that's a beautiful thing. And I am all about learning new things and kind of looking at things from another lens to get a fuller comprehension of things. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share that video with you guys so you can see it for yourself. So hang on, let me get that for you.
Have to understand that masculinity can be a cult. And when I say cult, it's no different than David Koresh, it's no different than Jim Jones. It's funny because when you don't even hear, you know what, a best way to example is slavery. Is when slaves were yelling about, oh my God, I'm being beaten, I'm being hurt. The master would look at like, I don't understand what you're saying. You don't, you know, it's almost like there's this disconnect, like they won't see pain. There's a lack of empathy. And this is what happens with men and women. Men who are in this cult, you can say as a woman, they talk, but a guy is not looking at you as even all the way human. And this is what you have to understand. There's a humanity issue here. You're like, why don't you hear me? Why don't you see my feelings? And they're like, but you're not all the way human. You're here for me. You're here for my deal. And it's real. I got a perfect example. Now, first of all, I have to tell you, I am guilty. I am guilty. I believe, simply because I was a man, that I was more valuable than my wife and the other women in my life. This is something that, you know, men have been sold a bill of goods for a long, long time. Let me tell you, when I was in football, I remember one thing the guys would do is go to the strip club. And the guys go to the strip club, and you sit there, and here's the woman, and the whole thing. And once she starts talking about she has kids, or if she starts talking about anything in her life, it's like, stop, stop, stop. Because you're becoming a human before my eyes. I don't want you to be a human. I want you to be an object. I want you to be something pretty to look at, but as you talk, you're making things too real for me. So scary.
All right. And so I'm pretty sure there are some uninvolved people who may be watching this video and believe that he is pandering. And I I just feel like he's being open about his own journey. And so being open about your own journey can't be considered pandering because it's your journey. Like, who are you pandering to about your own situation? Like, that doesn't make sense at all. So he's talking about his own masculinity, and he's saying that it could be a cult, and that also that he's recognized this in other men. Okay. He's not saying all men, he's saying that he recognizes this kind of self absorbed, this self important idea that a woman is less valuable than him. And so when I have gone out on dates, and I'm telling you, I don't go out with men of any low quality or substance. I would not bother putting my clothes in the cleaners for that. Okay. I would not waste gasoline or a product or anything to even invest time with a man who is not of some value and substance. And then when I say substance, I don't mean financial, I mean substantive, heart, value, moral, that kind of thing. So I don't waste my time with people in general who don't have quality in their character. But even men who have quality in their character have made me feel like I was at a job interview when I was on a date with them. Okay. So this is Terry Crews saying this. Of all men, this is definitely a a man who has made a name for himself outside of many other avenues where he could have directed his life. He has made a name for himself, whether you like him or not. You know his name, and you know his stature as a man. And so, because of that, I have to use him as the example because I would have been out with a guy like sort of like that, okay? And maybe not in that financial bracket, but with, you know what I mean, with kind of that sense of himself. But even he is telling you that he looked at women as, I'm the valuable person and you are here for me. You are going to be interviewed for this position in my life. And I need to see if you are up to my standard. Um, you know, and I don't think anybody likes to feel objectified. Nobody wants to feel like their value is in something outside of their whole being. And so um the reason that I haven't really gone ventured out of late, well, other than the fact that I live in two different countries, but the reason that I really have not ventured past the video call stage is because I start to kind of feel that interview process happening during the video call, and I'm not willing to go past that. It used to be that I would go past that and at least give the guy the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe that was just because we were on the video call and he couldn't think of any other conversation or whatever. And maybe it'll be better when we're sitting side by side, and he can view me as a human being and not just a face on the screen. But I don't I don't really waste my time. I'm a grandmother, just don't have time like that to waste product and gasoline and money on somebody who's already showing me that they are not viewing me as a part of a possible part of a coupling that will be a coupling. They're looking at me as I'm interviewing for some position in their life. Now, we can argue about it if you want. I mean, it's my choice, right? So my choice is not to waste time in that direction because I know that there is someone in the world who would not treat me that way, right? So that's the person that I want to spend my time getting to know. The person who won't do that, the person who will not put me on some numerical system that says, oh, you're a number of some sort. Like what I mean by that is, how they say you're a 4, you're a 3, you're a 5, you're a 10. The person who is going to be with you, the right person who's going to be with you, you're going to be off the charts. You're going to be so right for them and they're going to be so right for you. There's not going to be a scale, right? You get it? There's not going to be a scale because they are yours. You are theirs. So everybody else who's trying to look for somebody to do all of these things that check their little boxes and they're really open to who that might be in the sense of they're not looking for one. They're looking for options. And they're like, well, you got a few of these things. I can check these off. And she's got a few things. I'll check these off. And then she's got a few things. I'll check these off. And then let me go and deliberate with myself and see which one of you guys, you know. No, no. The answer is an emphatic no. For me, at least. I mean, This is what makes celibacy so easy because it is very difficult to isolate some of these things. But for me, I'm not going to waste my time on somebody who is viewing me the way that Mr. Terry Crews just said. Like, where it's like, you're here for me. This is not about our coupling. This is not about seeing how you and me can be that yin and yang and how we can go forward in the world and make an impact in a good way, where all I'm thinking about is your celibacy, or all I'm thinking about is how I'm going to play this game and get over, or all I'm thinking about is not being my authentic self and seeing if you'll buy this other version of me, and then subtly drop in who I really am. Like, none of that stuff is a go for me. And I would say to you, don't let it be a go for you. Like, enjoy your time being with you. Enjoy yourself, giving yourself the love that you want. Give it to yourself. Don't you deserve it? You should be able to love you and not have it depend on somebody outside of yourself who won't really grasp the value that you are, because they are looking at your exterior, or they're looking at your money, or they're looking at your house, or they're looking at anything else other than the person, the human being before them, a person who has flaws, a person who has highs and lows in their personality, right? So I'm not going out for an interview. I'm not going out for a free meal. I can cook. So, and I usually like to cook my own food anyway. I'd rather buy groceries and cook at home than to go eat somebody else's food, because people are nasty. I'm just let's just be real. People are nasty. So, anyway, I'm not going to even go on that tangent cuz I could. If you guys have been looking at my Facebook page, you know I put all this stuff about food. Anyway, my point, you ladies who are on this journey, I will say to you, if you get to the point where you're talking to some guy and you hear a lot of what sound like job interview questions, run quickly the other way. Please run, because they're wasting your time. You go take yourself out and really have a good time. You know what I mean? You can go see the movie you want to see. You can go and eat the food you want to eat. You can go and spend your time the way you want to spend your time. And you don't have to worry about somebody asking you questions that sound like you're trying to sell them who you are. If your twin flame is the person sitting across from you, you're not going to have to sell it. You're not going to have to sell anything to them, because they already see something in you that resonates with them. And now all of that resonating is going to culminate into, hey, I see something beautiful happening between us. Now let's talk about goals. Let's talk about future. Let's talk about, what do we have in common? What do we want to accomplish in this life? Let's talk about things like that, because, that's what's going to move you forward in anything, is if you have a teammate, a comrade, and not a boss. All right. So I will talk to you guys later. Shalom.